if we have not yet met. The really short version is I spent 12 plus years building my own career in account management and customer success before launching my coaching business for customer success professionals. Now, over the last few years, my team has grown to a team of 10, which is just absolutely insane to say out loud. And together we have helped over 1,200 customer success professionals land jobs. That's all the way from entry level up to VP level roles. So what you're getting access to today is you're gonna get to learn from the patterns that my team and I have seen over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of CS job searches. So everything you're learning today is from real data that we've analyzed over the years. Now, what you are going to leave here with, if you spend 60 minutes with me, I take that really seriously. I'm gonna give you a ton of value. By the end of this hour, you're gonna walk away with 3 things. Number 1, you're gonna understand why you are not landing interviews, especially for jobs that you're qualified for. And part of that is also gonna be giving you a list of things that you can just stop doing because they're wasting your time. I think you're really gonna like that. Number 2 is I'm gonna walk you through the exact 3-step sequence that lands competitive customer success interviews. This is the exact same one that we walk our clients through. This is how some of our clients are hitting 60% application interview rates. I think what's gonna blow your mind is how simple these 3 steps are. And lastly, you are going to leave this session with a personal to-do list. So you can take everything you learn in these 60 minutes and go fix this stuff on your own. So you can literally start landing more consistent, better interviews starting tomorrow, just depending on how quickly you implement this stuff. But it really is so simple. And I'm gonna give you all of the details so that you can do this on your own. All right, so I want to start with why it is so hard to land interviews in customer success right now, because I think once you see what's actually happening in this market, everything you should do is going to become a little bit more obvious. Now, why is it so hard to land interviews? A lot of us right now are probably thinking, well, Carly, it's because there's not a lot of jobs and there's a lot of talent. And yes, that is absolutely true. Obviously, I know that. I think everyone here knows that. But when you really think about that, that doesn't explain your problem, because if this were purely a supply and demand thing, if it was just we have too much talent and not enough jobs, then how does that explain how CSMs with 12 perfect years of experience on their resume are not getting interviews, and yet we have CSMs with less experience who are getting interviews? It just doesn't explain the full picture. It is absolutely a part of why it's such a challenge, but it's not the whole landscape. So volume is not the full story. There's something else going on. And what my team and I have been able to identify is 2 very specific forces. So number 1, in customer success, and I would even argue in tech more broadly, but I'm gonna stay in my lane. In customer success, spend right now is under a microscope more than ever. When CS directors, VPs, whatever, CS leaders, whenever they used to want to hire a CSM, it used to be plenty for them to go, hey, executive team, we have a lot of accounts, and so we need another body. And the executive team would be like, okay, cool, yeah, more accounts, more CSMs, go do it. That is not the case anymore. When CS teams want to add headcount, they need to be able to justify that headcount after a specific outcome. This specific profile is who we're gonna hire. They're gonna be doing this exact thing, and they're gonna be delivering this specific outcome. So what that means for you is CS hiring managers are no longer just looking for a body to put in a seat. They're no longer just saying, hey, I have a lot of accounts, let's put this person here. They're looking for a very specific person to solve a specific problem or deliver a specific outcome. So the takeaway here is hiring is getting really specific. The second force, and I know that this is a hot topic right now, we have to address it. AI has already and will continue to eat away the commodity work of CSMs. I am not saying AI is getting rid of CSMs, okay? I will die on that hill. But things like creating QBR decks, doing usage reporting, all the stuff that could be automated either is already gone or is on its way out the door, which means what's left in the CS seat is the hard stuff. It is the stuff that we are all good at and why we're in CS, but it's things like your judgment, creative problem solving, advisory, change management, the stuff that AI cannot do. So what this means in the job market is CS hiring managers are no longer hiring for the same role. They're not hiring for the job that you've been doing for the last 12 years. They're hiring for what CS has become or is becoming. So what this all means, you put these two forces together, and what happens on the hiring side of the equation is what used to be a picture of hiring is on the left-hand side. They would have a small wish list, and 7 of 9 experienced CSMs would fit the bill. But now that list has grown. It has gotten really, really specific. Look at all these things that got added to the list. What that means is now maybe 1, 2 CSMs out of 9 actually fit what they're looking for. So it's not that anybody has gotten less qualified. It's just that hiring has gotten really specific. So kind of the too long didn't read here, if you haven't been paying attention for the last 8 minutes, what's happening in CS is spend is being scrutinized. So we have to fight really hard to open CS headcount. We have to be so specific about the outcome every hire is going to drive. And AI is changing the role. So they're hiring for a different job. It's what the job is going to be. And when you put those things together, basically what we get is a lot of hiring managers who are looking for someone to solve their specific problem. They're looking for a very specific profile. Okay, so now we know that the market got specific. So now I want to talk about the stuff that you've been probably doing. I'm making some assumptions here because I bet that some of the stuff you've been doing is not working, and that's why you're on this call. So I want to explain why some of that stuff is no longer working. And then I promise we'll get to what to do instead. So when people come to me and they say, I'm stuck, I can't get any interviews, or I'm getting interviews for crappy jobs that I don't want, these are the most common things that I hear people relying on. Do me a favor and do everyone else a favor. Just throw 1 in the chat if you are doing at least one of these, solely so that other people can see, oh my gosh, okay, I'm not the only one doing this stuff. Yeah, okay, so you're all doing this stuff. That is so normal. I want to start out by saying it is so normal if you're doing this stuff, okay? No one has taught you that this stuff doesn't really work. No one has explained why this stuff doesn't really work in this job market. I'm going to explain that to you now. First one, referrals. Now, a referral might get you seen by someone. That is very real. But the problem in this specific job market is as CS needs are getting narrower and narrower, more specific to this exact team, this environment, this company, this product, this customer base, this book of business, the odds that anyone that you know happens to know someone hiring for a role that fits your profile perfectly, the odds are so slim. So what I want you to take away from here is please don't go texting all your friends, posting on TikTok or whatever. Carly said referrals are bad. I am not saying referrals are bad. They cannot be bad. Referrals are great. But relying on referrals to land a job in this market is a bad strategy if you want to land a job in, let's say, less than 9 months. Okay, so not referrals are bad. Solely relying on referrals is not a great strategy. Those are 2 different things. Number 2, this is a big one. This is my favorite one to share because it usually blows some minds. Tweaking your resume to match the job description. I can talk about this for the full hour. I will not do that. Problem number 1 with this, and I probably more than any human on the planet can say this because I don't think there's any other human that looks at more CSM resumes than myself. When you edit your resume to match the job description, it waters you down. You end up looking like the 500 other CSMs who tailored their resumes using the same ChatGPT prompts for the same job description. And now all of your resumes, aside from maybe the font, the formatting, and the companies you worked at, they all say the same thing. You all look the same. So when you do this, everything that makes you unique, everything that you're like, oh my gosh, I wish hiring managers knew this about me, is just completely erased off the page. That's problem number 1. And that's a pretty big problem. Problem number 2, and this is one that I don't really see anybody else talking about. The job description or job posting that you see online is not the full picture of what they are looking for. We do some recruiting, which means that we actually sit down with people who are hiring CSMs and we talk about what they're looking for, who they're looking for. 100% of the time that we help companies recruit CSMs, they'll send the JD and then they'll say, but we should get on a call for 30 or 60 minutes because there's so much more that we're looking for that's not listed here. So not only when you do this are you watering yourself down, but you're also editing yourself to look like something that doesn't even represent. Please, if you take nothing else from this hour, stop editing your resume to match job descriptions. I will tell you what to do with it instead, but please do not do this anymore. And lastly, mass applying. Look, this is the one that it really feels like it should work. We've all taken a statistics class at some point or understand the basics of statistics. You would think the more jobs I apply to, the more interviews I'm going to get. Unfortunately, that just does not work. The data completely contradicts that theory, at least in our little niche customer success job market. When you mass apply on your own, if you use tools that mass apply to jobs for you, you hire a reverse recruiter, which by the way is the same thing as using one of those mass apply tools. That whole industry claims an average application to interview rate of 1%. That's 99 rejections for every one job interview. I don't know about you, but that's not something that I'd be willing to settle for. That is in contrast to the 3 steps I'm about to show you, where our clients see truly anywhere between 8 and 60%, but certainly not 1%. So unfortunately, mass applying feels really productive. It feels like it should work, but you're just sending your stuff out. You're really just collecting rejections faster. Now, I know that was a lot of bad news, so here's the good news. The good news is that there are a lot of things you can be doing, and they are really easy to do. You just haven't been taught how to do them yet, and that is going to be the whole rest of our time together. So we are transitioning out of what's going wrong to what the hell do I do? If you can take notes, now's the time to really lock in and start taking notes, because this is where all the what to do stuff is going to come out. All right, here it is, the 3 steps. We're going to go through each one of these. Step 1, if you want to land competitive interviews in customer success, step 1, you need to figure out what your position is in the market. What makes you stand out? Why are you uniquely hireable? If you don't know that, none of the rest of this works. Step number 2 is writing a resume that highlights that unique value from step 1. And the best news about this is once you have that, you never have to tweak your resume again, ever. Maybe when you get another job, but not for this job search. And step 3 takes you maybe 5-10 minutes. You are going to reach out to a hiring manager and connect your unique value from step 1 to their needs. So hopefully you're starting to see that everything builds on that step 1. So let's start there with step 1. When I say your position in the market, I mean, what makes you unique? What is your specific CS flavor? What do you bring to the table that makes you especially appealing to the right company? And I want to be really clear about something here. This is not your years of experience. It is not your NRR, and it is absolutely not, I'm good at relationships, okay? Every CSM says that. Your position in the market, I promise, is something much more specific than any of those, and I'm going to help you find it. Before I help you find it, I just want to explain why this is seemingly so difficult to do. Has anyone heard the saying, you can't read the label from inside the jar? Imagine you are actually a teeny tiny human stuck inside a prescription bottle. You can't read the label from inside. It's no different when we're trying to identify what makes us unique and special in our careers. It's really hard to do that for yourself. So if you've struggled with this, or if you struggle with this as we go through it together, that is very normal. Okay, so the reason that this is so important is, we all know this, I think we just forget. CS is so not one size fits all, okay? You could be a CSM who is not technical at all. Please do not put me in a room with a developer. I will not know what to say. You could also be a CSM who speaks developer. You could be a CSM who is a negotiation expert. You could be a CSM who's please do not sign me up for negotiations. I do not want any part of it. I don't know how to negotiate. I sound crazy when I try. Not for me. You could also be a CSM who is really great at having 3 accounts where you're super high touch. You're really in those accounts. Or you could be a CSM who has 2,000 accounts who barely talks to them. You're just webinar, beep, bop, boop, email, whatever you do when you have 2,000 accounts, right? It's very different. So the point here is none of this is bad. There is no better end of any of these spectrums, but there is a company that needs each one of these different things. Non-technical is not worse than super technical. It's just a different position, and somebody's going to be hiring for exactly your profile. Hopefully this is starting to make sense. Now, if you're looking at this slide and you're starting to say, oh, okay, I'm starting to learn a little bit more about myself, that's great. Feel free to take a screenshot, by the way, and refer back to this slide. But what we need to figure out is, as we're looking at this, is where do you sit? And by the way, this is just a teeny tiny preview of all the scales we could put CSMs on. But we need to figure out where you are. What are your specialty areas? Where do you sit on these scales? Because without that, it's going to be really hard to sell yourself. It's going to be really hard to match what you bring to the table to a specific role. So that's what we're about to do together. Now, we are doing this together. I tried to make the slide look like, all right, we're in it, we're locked in, we're paying attention. This is live. I actually want you to do this with me. So take notes wherever you need to, grab something to write on, and let's start. First question, what do you think your strengths are as a CSM? What do you do better than other CSMs on your team? Or what are some things that you do that other CSMs on your team just don't do? Write down 2 or 3. If you want to share them in the chat, I'm going to just shout out one of mine is talking to executives. That was always something that I felt like I did better than other CSMs on my team. That is not a knock on any of them. There are plenty of things they did better than me, but I felt especially good at that. Cool. Now, if you're struggling with this, that's normal. Remember the jar. You're a teeny tiny person in a jar trying to read the label. Yep. Here's how to get unstuck. Think about a recent client thing that you handled. Maybe it was a renewal. Maybe it was just a QBR. Maybe it was a particularly difficult word to say, customer call, a client onboarding. Now think about how you handled it. Like really get deep, get into the details. What were all the things you did? Then ask yourself, what were some things that I did in this scenario that another CSM wouldn't have? Did I prep for it a different way? Did something that I did during this process come more easily to me that would have been harder for someone else? That's a really good way to start to find what your strengths are if they don't come to you right away. Is anyone coming to them? Okay, that's awesome. I'm going to keep going. This is one of those slides that are going to get sent to you so you can do this at home if you're not able to keep up. The second question you can ask to figure out your flavor or fit is, what are the parts of the job that you enjoy the most? Do you love building playbooks? Do you love working with high-touch enterprise accounts? Do you love closing deals? What you're drawn to and what you enjoy is usually what you're especially good at. We don't usually love the things that we're not good at, so this is maybe a simpler way to find what your strengths are. Okay, I see some in the chat. Awesome. Is this helping? Are you guys learning about... I just see the word golf showing up a lot. I feel like I missed a joke, but okay, we're going to keep going. Last question. And this one is going to work a little bit differently. I'm going to make a fake observation about you, and I just want you to react to it. Don't overthink it. Just notice your immediate gut response. So imagine that I'm a hiring manager, and you hand me your resume, and I read it, and I look at you, and I say, when I look at your resume, the thing that jumps out at me is technical aptitude. That's your number one strength. And what does your gut say? What's your reaction? Do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it? Do you think it should be something else? The thing here, and we're just kind of role playing, is it doesn't actually matter whether I'm right. I obviously made that up. This is my hands, not your resume, obviously. What matters is your reaction. Because if you heard that and you thought, oh my God, you're so wrong, this other thing is what I wanted you to take from my resume, that's probably one of your big strengths. That's probably pointing to your flavor. Or if you heard me say, oh my gosh, yes, you got it right. It is technical aptitude. That's it. You got it. Then, okay, either way, you're learning something about yourself. Whether you agreed or disagreed, just write that down and write down why. Okay. Now, we did a few questions together, but this exercise itself and really finding your strengths and your CS flavor deserves more than the few minutes we can give it here. So answering those 3 questions thoroughly is your homework. And I'm going to give you 2 at-home exercises you can do to go even deeper. This is going to be great if you're struggling. Number 1 is I'm going to give you an AI prompt. You're going to put this prompt into some sort of AI along with your resume. It will help you find what's missing from your resume. I'm not going to read the prompt to you. Feel free to screenshot it. You will get it in the follow-up with the replay. And the last thing you can do at home is go pull up your past performance reviews. Yes, those things that annoy us all the time. Your managers have been telling you your strengths for years. Sometimes the label that you can't read from inside the jar is sitting right there in your performance reviews. So go read through them, look for the patterns. What are other people saying that you're great at? Once you do all of these things and give it the time and attention it deserves, you should have a list of the things that you're genuinely good at. Not, I'm good at relationships, specific CS skills that are your strengths. And that list is what creates your position in this market. That list is what makes you uniquely hireable. It's what makes you different from the 499 other CSMs who applied to the same job as you. And once you have that list and you can actually see what your strengths are, what your unique CS flavor is, you can finally do something with it, which is going to be step 2. Before I move on, was that helpful? Is everyone starting to kind of understand a little bit more about their CS flavor? I saw a couple yeses. I'm moving on. Okay, perfect. Step 2 is writing a resume that highlights your unique value. And remember what I said earlier, once you build your resume this way, you don't have to tweak it again. You can just use one resume for all the jobs you apply to. I get so freaking pumped up about this because it's going to be so helpful and it's so easy. It is so easy to do. It's going to make such a big difference. We're going to go through 2 specific to-do list items with your resume. So the first to-do item with your resume, if you want to do this live on the call, awesome. If not, do it right when we wrap. The first one is you need to add scope to every role on your resume. If a hiring manager looks at your resume and they don't understand these 4 things about your past roles, you are not getting interviews or not getting as many interviews as you could be getting. Number 1, what were the segments you managed? SMB, mid-market, enterprise, a combination. Tell me. The volume of your accounts. Did you have 5 accounts? Did you have 2,000 accounts? Somewhere in the middle? I need to know. That tells me a lot about your past roles. Number 3, the revenue associated with your accounts. I don't care what kind of weird stuff you have to do to figure this information out. If your company doesn't tell you up front, you got to figure it out. You need to know the value of your book of business. Ideally, you can put it into ARR. So if you're like, well, we bill our customers this weird way and this and upside down and whatever, simplify it, figure out how to make it kind of fit into annual revenue and put that on your resume. If it's some sort of weird convoluted revenue number, it's just going to confuse people. They're not going to believe you and it's not going to help you. So try to get it into ARR. And lastly, what were the parts of the life cycle that you owned? Were you an onboarding manager, a renewals manager? Did you do all the stuff in between? I don't know. You tell me. If I don't know this information about your prior roles, there's no way I can know where you fit in this market. And there is no way I can tell if you are going to be a fit for the profile I'm looking for. This is so freaking easy for you to go do. Now I'm going to show you why this matters. You can read these bullets. I really don't feel like reading them out loud, but read this first bullet. Okay, I'll read some of it. Manage a portfolio of enterprise customers, like blah, blah, blah. This doesn't tell me anything. Manage a portfolio of 40 SaaS customers. What the heck does that mean? I don't know what you're doing in this role. Manage a 3 million ARR portfolio, but of what? Who? What kinds of accounts are you managing? I don't know who you are. I don't know your flavor. I don't know your profile. So easy. This is what it should look like. Manage number, segment, ARR, lifecycle, onboarding through renewal. Boom. This tells me everything I need to know about what you did in that role. Well, not everything, because obviously you need more bullets than just this one, but this sets the stage. Okay, so your homework is to go make sure that every role where you were an account manager, a CSM, whatever, anything similar, we need the scope of the role. Now, that one is kind of boring. It's kind of just like, you got to do it. It's not that exciting. Number 2, to me, is exciting. I don't know if you'll find it exciting, but I do. So the second to-do item for your resume, this is really where we are taking your resume from this like bland, kind of reads like every other CSM. It's not really giving me much. Nothing's jumping off the page to, holy shit, I want to talk to this person. And I'm pretty sure that's why you're all here. So pay attention. Okay. So what we're doing here is we are inserting our personal approach to at least 2 or 3 bullets under every role. What I mean by that is there should be at least 2 or 3 bullets under every role on your resume that teaches the reader something about you. Not just what your job was, Not just the things you accomplished, but specifically how you did those things. So these are some filters that you can run your bullets through. If they don't answer the question, they need some work. The first filter you can run your bullets through is, does this bullet explain what I did and how? Most bullets I read do not explain the how. Does this bullet make me look like every other CSM, or does it give a preview of my approach to CS? Most bullets I read could be any CSM. Lastly, could this bullet be found in a job description, or is it unique to me? It's going to take you a little while to get used to these. I'm going to show you examples so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's say that you want to talk about expansion. A fluffy bullet that would not pass those 3 filters might sound like this top one. I identify expansion opportunities through account health monitoring, usage analysis, and business growth discussions. Fine, but also boring. Like every CSM has some version of that. Sorry if I'm offending you. You need to hear this. Now watch me transform this bullet about expansion to 3 different flavors of CS, still talking about expansion. These are all going to show a slightly different approach. And chances are you might actually resonate with one of these 3 bullets. And if you do, feel free to steal it, put it on your resume. Opened 400K in expansion opportunities by partnering with champions in 3 key accounts to present custom ROI analyses to executive sponsors. This to me screams your profile is commercial, executive-facing CSM. Love it. That might be exactly what one hiring manager is looking for. Now, maybe that doesn't speak to you. Maybe that doesn't describe who you are. That's okay. Maybe this one does. Open 400K in expansion through white space analyses, org mapping, and strategic account planning with sales partner. That is a strategic, sales-aligned CSM. Maybe that's you. Maybe that's exactly what I'm looking for. Maybe it's not you. Open 400K in expansion opportunities by leading technical architecture reviews that surface integration gaps. That is a technical CSM who is also commercial. So hopefully you're starting to see here, this is the same result. It's the same skill. It's expansion. But these are 3 completely different flavors of driving expansion and 3 completely different profiles in my mind. So now hiring managers can actually tell which one you are. This is the difference between blending in and showing off your unique value. It's the difference between sounding like every other CSM and sounding like someone that they actually want to talk to. Is this helping? Okay, we're going to do one more. I'm going to go through this one kind of quick so that I'm not overly rushing the end. Okay, perfect. I saw 1 yes. That's enough for me. Okay, this time we're going to do, instead of expansion, let's do a churn save. So starting with the fluffy, generic, boring, this doesn't do anything for me version. Reduce churn by monitoring account health, addressing customer concerns, and running regular check-ins. Bad. This is bad. All right, ready to see it? Saved a 150K. By the way, obviously I picked big numbers to make this even better. If yours is 25K, that's fine. Saved 150K at-risk account by building an AI-powered early warning system that flagged negative customer sentiment from recorded calls. So cool. You are probably technical because you're building stuff with AI. You're a systems thinker. You're someone who can build solutions that can help the rest of the team. That might be exactly what I'm looking for. But maybe that's not you at all, right? Maybe you save risk in completely different ways. Saved 150K at-risk account by rebuilding executive sponsorship after a major champion departure. That's someone who is good at relationships, which we all like saying, but this actually shows me you're good at relationships. You're also someone who can probably navigate a big, complex enterprise account. You can deal with maybe the politics of enterprise organizations. You understand how to build relationships at different levels. That might be exactly who I'm looking for. Next one. Saved 150K at-risk account by leading a cross-functional account turnaround plan, ultimately securing a multi-year renewal. That is an operator. Someone who can just get stuff done, coordinate across teams, save an account. There are hiring managers who are looking for technical systems builders. There are hiring managers who are looking for people who can navigate complex enterprise orgs. And there are hiring managers out there looking for operators. But if you don't tell them which one you are, they're never going to want to talk to you. Is this resonating? Yes. Awesome. So what I want you to take from these last 2 slides is it's really not about your experience. It's not because you had a career gap. You've all done impressive things. You all can do the job. You all can land the job. You're probably just selling a very generic, watered down version of you, which, again, not your fault. This stuff is not easy to do. Remember, inside the jar, trying to be simple. But your homework now is you need to figure out, like we just did, what is your unique value? And then you got to make sure it's showing up on your resume. Because if it's not getting picked out of the pile. So your to-do for your resume specifically, don't worry, you're going to get these slides, is first, make sure that every role on your resume lists the scope. Again, we went through account segment, volume, ARR, and a life cycle. And then run, it doesn't have to be every single bullet on your resume, but 3 or 4 under each role through those filtered questions and try to insert your how so that your flavor starts to show up. Okay, step 3. I get really excited about step 3 because everyone likes to tell me it doesn't work. And I love to be right. I love to prove people wrong. So I want you all to come into step 3 with an open mind. It's okay if this has not worked for you in the past. It's probably because you weren't doing it right, but I'm about to show you how to do it the right way. This is also where my clients see the biggest jump. Like my clients who are doing step 3 are getting jobs faster, hands down, no doubt. What we're talking about here is doing cold outreach to hiring managers. There is a specific way to go about it. We will get into it. But I know that a lot of you right now are thinking, this doesn't work. I've tried it. No one responds. It doesn't work. So I'm just going to show you our data. Take from it what you want, but this is our data. So this is based on weekly check-ins from hundreds of CS job seekers at different levels, again, from about entry level, so 1 to 2 years of CS experience, all the way up through VPs of CS. So we're talking like 14, 15 years of experience. We asked them about their behavior in the job search. Were they booking interviews? If they were, how were they booking those interviews? So this is where this data comes from. What we learned from this data is applications that were backed by outreach booked nearly double the interviews. So to me, I would say if you want to double your odds of landing an interview, outreach isn't optional. And here's another stat in case you're still not convinced. Of all the people who booked interviews, who let us know we are actively booking interviews, 91% of them were doing outreach. Think about what that means. It's not just coincidental, okay? It's not just that outreach helps every once in a while, or maybe it helps these people, but not those people. The people who are doing well in this job market are doing outreach. So to me, the takeaway is outreach is not a nice to have. It is a very reliable mechanism to land more interviews. Now again, there is a right and a wrong way to do outreach. We're going to talk about how to do it the right way. First, I want to explain, this is from directly having conversations with CS hiring managers. Why does, when a CSM reaches out to you, why does that help them get hired? Why does that make a good impression? Number one that they say is when you can connect your unique value proposition to my needs for my role, that's great. You are shortcutting so much of the work. If you don't do that, then I have to make that connection solely from reading your resume, and sometimes that just doesn't happen. So outreach is kind of like taking that work off their plate and saying, hey, you know what? Actually, you sit back, hiring manager, you relax, you chill. I'm going to tell you exactly why I'm the perfect fit for the role that you're hiring for. The other reason it works is, remember earlier I said that AI is getting rid of some of the commodity work of CSMs, the stuff that's becoming less important. When you do outreach the right way, it's you actually showing off the skills that are becoming more and more important, more and more valued in this job market. It can show that you're a creative problem solver, that you can engage in executive, that you can break through the noise, that you can drive outcomes. It's showcasing all of that stuff that is so highly valued in CSMs right now. It's the stuff that AI can't do. Now, I want to be really clear about something. Outreach that doesn't work is usually because you're just reiterating your resume in a different format. So if your message is just, I'm an experienced CSM with 5 years and I hit my NNR goal for the last 4 quarters and I drive expansion and I'm really good at building relationships. That's not good outreach. That's not showing 1 and 2. That's not you actually connecting your value to what they need. And that's not you showing creative problem solving or engaging communication. That's just you taking your resume and typing it and sending it in a message. So I want to be extremely clear that outreach is resume. How do you do outreach that actually works? And I think this is the reframe that is going to make this so freaking easy for all of you. You're hopefully going to leave here and go, duh, why the heck didn't I think of that? When you're doing outreach to hiring managers after you apply to a job, it should be no different from how you talk to your customers every single day. You never walk into a customer meeting and, like this guy on the left, list every feature your product has and hope they figure out which one is going to solve their problem, right? We all were guilty of doing that maybe in our first year of CS, but we've matured. We know that that's not the right way to communicate with customers. Instead, you're coming in like this guy on the right. You're coming in making the connection for your customers. You're saying, hey, customer, because I asked you all these questions and did my homework, I know that these are your goals and these are your problems, and here are the things that I have that's going to get you there. That is literally the job of customer success. Fight me in the chat if I'm wrong. Outreach to hiring managers is this same thing. You're just pointing it at a hiring manager, a potential future manager, instead of a customer. The outreach that gets responses and books interviews is coming in, creating that parallel. It's saying, hey, I kind of get what you're trying to do. And guess what? Here's what I bring to the table and can help you get there. It's not the feature list. It is not, I'm good at relationships, I have great NRR, and I know how to build AI tools. I don't know. So I'm going to show you 2 examples of outreach. One is bad, one is good. We're starting with the bad. Sorry if this is one of your emails. No, it's not. I made this up, but this is based on a lot of the outreach that I see in hiring manager inboxes. Subject line, excited about modern health. Hi, Crystal. I'm a senior CSM with 8 years of experience. I currently manage a portfolio of enterprise accounts and have exceeded my NRR goals for the last 6 consecutive quarters in a row. I'm really drawn to Modern Health's mission, and I'd love to be considered for the open enterprise CSM role on your team. My resume is attached. What? This is just your resume in paragraph form, and it's all about you. It is all about you. You have done nothing to help Crystal see why you're a good fit for this role. It's you just feature dumped on Crystal. A better outreach message looks like this. You come in personal. You are trying to connect with the person you're sending the message to, just like you would with a customer. You're creating that parallel. You're saying, hey, I see that you're trying to do this. Well, guess what? I can help you. Subject, loved your webinar, plus onboarding at scale, showing I did my homework. Hi, Crystal, we haven't met yet, but I caught your webinar on scaling CS, and your point on strong playbooks really resonated with me. That's made up. The point is, it's personal. You did your homework. I see that you're hiring a CSM to improve onboarding at scale. Found that in the job description. At previous company, I did exactly that. I built out one-to-many touch points and this big, beautiful self-serve portal that cut onboarding time in half. Curious, what would this hire free up your time to focus on? PS, just applied. Happy to connect with HR if it's a fit. Notice a couple of things about this message. Now, I am not dissecting the entire message. I'm leaving some of that for you to do. But notice how personal it is. You couldn't copy and paste this message and send it to Jim at a different company and it still makes sense. It is very personal to Crystal. Notice that this person, this candidate, did not just feature dump. She didn't reiterate everything on her resume. She actually didn't even talk about NRR or the accounts that she manages. All she did was say, I noticed you're trying to do this. I've actually done that. Okay? The winning formula when you're doing outreach is it needs to be personal and it needs to connect your value to their outcomes. Otherwise, you're just feature dumping and they don't care and they're not going to read it. And actually, if they do read it, they're going to think less of you because that's what a bad CSM would do. This is what a bad CSM would do. If this is how you talk to your customers, they don't want to hire you. I know this is not how you talk to your customers. This is how you talk to your customers. Okay? So you need to draw the parallel. This is a slide that you will get with the replay. I, of course, don't expect you to be able to just do this voila without extra materials to support it. So you can copy this message. I don't care if you use this word for word and just plug in things that make sense. I hope you do, in fact. Okay, moving on. I just want to prove that none of this stuff, I know that it's different from what you're used to hearing. I know that for a lot of you, I just told you to stop doing all the things you've been taught and all the things you've believed about job searching. And if you're new to me, that is a very bold thing to do, right? It's like, hi, nice to meet you. By the way, you're doing everything wrong. So I want to leave you with some proof that this stuff is not theory. This is not made up. This is not just like what I think works. This is what happens when people actually do these 3 steps. I'm not going to read every single one of these client results to you, but just in the last couple of weeks, you can read through some of the things our clients have been able to achieve by doing this 3-step sequence that I just walked you through. This is what I mean by it's really not that crazy. It's not that complicated. Once you learn it, it becomes easy. Now, I'm not saying it's not time consuming. I'm not saying that job searching is not an emotional roller coaster from hell. However, the stuff that you should actually be doing is pretty simple. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. In fact, it's pretty boring, but it works. So some of the things I'll point out, we had Alana landed a director of CS role, nice big OTE, 62K, hell yeah. She actually juggled multiple offers and signed her offer in 5 weeks. 5 weeks. Devin went from literally 0 interviews to landing, again, another director level role at 200K OTE. Alexis, this is a story that I don't wish on any of you, but she had been searching for a year on her own with our team. As soon as she started working with us, following this 3-step sequence, it took her 9 weeks from the time she signed up to work with us to accepting an offer. So what I want you to take away from this is my team is awesome. No, I'm just kidding. That's not the only thing, but that is part of it. What I want you to take away from this is, yes, this job market is hard. Yes, this job market sucks. Yes, job seeking is not fun. However, with the right positioning and the right strategy, you absolutely can land a better paying job. You can land the title you're looking for. You can switch industries, and you can do all of that pretty quickly. I know that I just walked you through a lot of stuff. I actually can't believe that we're nearing the end here, but I have a couple more things to say, so just hang on with me. Quick recap. I want to kind of like pull this all together because I want this to be crystal clear before you log off. Number 1, you are qualified. Yes, this market is difficult, but it's gotten really specific. So just because you're qualified doesn't mean you're going to get hired. You need to know what your specific flavor and unique value proposition is. Otherwise, nothing else works. A lot of the things that you've been doing, referrals, tweaking your resume to match job descriptions, mass applying, congratulations, you can now stop doing all of that stuff because it's not working and it's not going to work. And the good news is you already know how to do all the stuff that is going to work. It's really just being a CSM, but in your job search. Number 1, figure out what is your unique value proposition. Then go edit your resume and then do your app. So simple, just these 3 steps. That's the whole roadmap. That's it. So where do we go from here? It would be irresponsible of me not to give you 2 options because you do have 2 options. Option number 1 is you can do this on your own. I mean this. You now know exactly how to do this. You know exactly what to do. Everyone yourself. It's going to take a little bit more trial and error. You're going to have to really work for it. Try to read the label from outside the jar, but you absolutely can do this on your own. Option number 2. You can do this with my team. We kind of become the eyes on the outside of the jar for you. We will find your flavor with you. We will build your resume for you. We will write that outreach with and for you. The same 3 steps you just learned, we just are compressing it. We're getting it done faster. And you're not having to figure out any of it on your own. Truthfully, I mean this with the utmost honesty. Like, both of these roads get you to your destination, whether it's a better job, a higher paying job, an urgent job. Either of these 2 paths will get you there. It's just a matter of how fast you want to get there. You do it on your own, it's going to take a little more time. You do it with us, it's going to go a little bit faster. So let me show you, if you are interested, if you are even a little bit interested in working with my team, I'm going to explain what that looks like and tell you what to do next. There is 0 pressure either way. So if you decide to work with my team, and you're going to see this immediately, this is going to map directly onto the 3 steps that I just taught you for the last hour. This isn't like a random pile of stuff. I am kind of feature dumping on you, but this is the exact method done with you. So first, we're going to find your position. We're going to help you figure out what your CS flavor is, what's going to make you jump off the page. And then we take that, we rewrite your resume for you. We will also audit and optimize your LinkedIn for search. So when recruiters are looking for you, they will find you. We will absolutely get rid of any questions of what titles you should be going after, what OTE range is realistic for you. We will let you know exactly where you should expect to be in this market. And we also give you a full hiring manager outreach system. So I gave you one email today. You get tons and tons and tons of templates for doing that outreach. We have a whole custom GPT that helps you write the outreach. You get our eyes on your outreach. So we're truly doing all of this stuff together. And then there's a whole part of job seeking we didn't even touch on today, which is interviewing. So working with my team also means we help you nail every single interview round and negotiate and sign an offer that you're happy with. So this is going to include helping you with your interview storytelling, handling objections in interviews, really understanding how to sell yourself in those interviews, doing interview presentations, and negotiating your job offer. Which, by the way, just learning how to negotiate a job offer in this market usually pays for the whole investment. So just something to keep in mind. The way that we do all of this, some of the additional support that you're getting is 4 hours of one-on-one time with a true CS expert. We have live office hours 5 days a week, so you get to jump on, have some extra time with a coach, meet seeking, email coaching, access to the team all day, every day, Monday through Friday. Cannot be understated how valuable having a team of CS experts to answer all of your questions via email is. You get lifetime access to the only job search platform built for customer success job seekers. We have so many people that work with us to land a job and then years later say, hey, by the way, logged into the portal, got myself another job. Thanks for that. That's exactly what it's for. We have custom GPTs for resumes, outreach, interviewing, all that good stuff, trained by all of our knowledge. And lifetime employer matching. We do some employer matching as well, so you get to be part of that. Want to apply, there's literally no harm. Scan this QR code. It'll take you to an application. It should take you less than 2 minutes. And fill that out, submit it, and then I will personally email you just to talk through your specific job search. If we think we can help you, listen, I'm going to be so honest. If we think we can help you, we will let you know. If we don't think that we can help you, we're going to tell you straight up. Sometimes people get upset, but I'm not going to ever let someone come on board if we actually don't think we can help you. So either way, no harm. Submit an application. We'll chat. We'll figure out where you're at, if you even need help, and if this is even the right fit for you. And we'll go through everything that you learned today, plus a whole lot more. Either way, whether you decide to apply or not, obviously I hope that this hour was worth your time. I freaking love that it's 1:30 on the dot. I cannot tell you, I'm so type A, but also type B about a lot of things. I'm very type B about the timing of my presentations. The fact that I got this 60 minutes on the dot, feels really good. Thank you everyone for being here. I would love to see if anyone's still hanging out. What was your big takeaway from today? Drop it in the chat. Before you log off, please. Don't change my CV. We got some work to do. Hell yeah. You know what? I'd be upset if you had work to do, because that would mean that you didn't learn anything. I saw a couple of people say the QR code is not working, so I'm just... Yay! Okay, sorry. The responses are coming in too fast. I can't read that. Happy. Awesome. Okay, thanks everyone for hopping on. Do me a favor, if you have friends that are job seeking, send them the replay when it comes out, help them out. And again, I'll just say this one last time, the replay, Carolyn, perfect timing. The replay will either go out tonight or tomorrow morning, just depending how quickly I can get it up and running. Along with the replay, you will get some of the slides from today, because I know some of them were heavy, some of them had AI prompts, so you will get some. All right. Thanks, everyone. And I hope to see you. I'm going to be doing more of these master classes, trying to do 1 a month right now. It's more realistically 2 per quarter. So make sure that you are opening my emails, you're following me on LinkedIn so that you know when the next master class is going to be.